Hai guys, jangan lupa tonton sampai habis agar tidak gagal paham.
Stories of PKI cruelty, burial alive Kiai and teachers from Egypt. The pages of Indonesian history are written with a terrible experience with communism for the Indonesian Communist Party. PKI, the atrocities of the PKI created a pool of blood for Muslims in Indonesia. Saturday, September 18, 1948, at 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 gunshots were marked as a sign of the start of the PKI armed uprising known as the Madiun Affair. This was a blatant coup d'etat against Indonesia, which had only been 3 years of independence and had just suffered because of the Dutch military attack the previous year. How weak Indonesia was at that time. That is the picture that generally emerges from the testimonies of people who experienced the events of September 18, 1948, when the PKI coup was proclaimed in Madiun. At that time, thousands of people were carrying rifles, kelawang, sickles, clubs, and other weapons such as a flood. Without any more babu, they moved swiftly and unpredictably from all directions in all directions, crashing into everything they came across. The PKI's main enemies were Muslims, especially the Kiai and Santri. This is understandable because Islam is the religion of the majority of the Indonesian population, which strongly opposes the PKI. In addition, the Kiai feel obliged to protect and defend their religion. Of the various tragedies, some of which are largely unknown, like the tragedy in Sigrok village south of Tegakkan, there is an old well that the PKI used as a dumping ground for its victims. The old Sigrok well is located behind the house of Tataruno, a resident who is not actually a PKI member. Instead, he was the one who reported the PKI's activities at his well to his village head. Near to Taruno's house lived Muslim, a sentry who witnessed the PKI's atrocities in carrying out the massacre at the old well in 1948. Muslim said that on the night of the slaughter everyone did not dare to leave the house. That night, he heard the screams of Surat, a PKI leader from Patungrejo village. He also heard the sound of people screaming hysterically because of the persecution. Muslim, who was secretly peeking through the hole from his house, saw the movements of the PKI people in the dim night. Muslims can recognize one of the victims calling the call to prayer from the well. The voice, according to him, is the voice of Kiai Imam Safwan from the Kebenaran Islamic boarding school. Ahmed Idris, a Masjumi figure in Sigrok village who was already being held by the PKI, witnessed the PKI's barbaric slaughter from a distance. Although faint, he was very familiar with the voice of Kiai. It was Imam Safwan who echoed from the well because Idris often listened to Kiai. Imam Safwan. According to Idris, the massacre of the PKI's atrocities at the Sigrok well was not carried out with a rifle or kilowang, but with a club. Idris revealed that the captives with their hands tied were faced towards the east of the well one by one. Then, a PKI executioner slammed a club into the back of each of the prisoners. At that time, Idris recalled that there was a prisoner who immediately after being hit screamed and fell into the well. But there are also those who, after being hit, still crawled and howled in pain. Their hands were reaching for a grip. Seeing the victims crawling like that, the PKI then dragged them away and put them alive into the well. Kiai Imam Safwan, according to Idris, was among those who did not die after being hit. The same thing happened to his 2 sons, namely Kiai Zubair and Kiai Bawani, who were slaughtered in the old well of Kapurejo village, not far from the Sigrok well. The PKI people, who saw that there were victims who were still alive in the well, didn't care at all. They then immediately filled the well with straw, stones, and soil. Because of this, there are statements that state that the victims of the 1948 PKI atrocities uprising were actually buried alive. Muslim said, on the morning after the massacre he found the vines of nuts and he and his garden had been exhausted. Apparently the PKI cleared all of it to fill the wells, said Muslim, who is threatened by the PKI to keep his mouth shut, is reported by nahimunkar.com. At least 22 people were put into the Sigrok killing pit. Among the victims there was KH Imam Safwan, Hadi Adaba, and Imam Fahim. Hadi Adaba himself is a teacher from Egypt who is assigned to teach at the Tegakkan Islamic boarding school. Meanwhile, Imam Fahim is a student of KH Imam Murstid who accompanied KH Imam Murstid when brought by the PKI car. But apparently in the middle of the road the Kiai and his bodyguards were separated. Imam Fahim was taken down in the middle of the road and finally found in the Sigrok killing pit.
Tegakkanlah kebenaran, wujudkanlah keadilan, tumbangkanlah kezaliman, ciptakanlah bersatu seluruh rakyat Indonesia melawan mereka yang tidak amanah. Nasib kita tak akan pernah berubah jika bukan kita yang merubahnya. Mereka tak peduli akan nasib bangsa ini. Mereka sibuk memperkaya diri. Katanya mengabdi